sell matches, that put yourself out of business if you manufacture that. Do you understand that? If Goodrich, say, buys a tire from me, that lasts 20 years against 2 years. Why should they manufacture it? Puts them out of business. If a drug company finds out that celery juice lowers blood pressure, and if they tell it to people, they can't sell their drugs. They get $3 for a pill. Why should they tell you to use celery juice? Do you understand? The free enterprise monetary system is corrupt as hell because of the nature of your business.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Okay, that's why banks and all other financial institutions are bound to be corrupt. And senators depend on donations to get elected. And companies do the donating. So what can you expect? War is big business.
Yeah.
You sell weapons. Next question.
You have to really speak up to have him hear you, but he doesn't generally talk about his technology because other people patent it and then he can't use it. So on interviews, he won't generally talk about the things he designed for the city and the specifics, if that's what you're looking for.
Okay. Okay, fine. Well, finally, I just wanted to ask you about your kind of intellectual influences or people who you've drawn inspiration from for developing your own ideas.
They're not really my own ideas. They're ideas that, like, if you smell a rose and you like it, if you go to Madagascar and there's something that looks like a rose with little black dots, and you sniff it, and it burns your nose for a week, the next flower you see, you go, that's experience. So my experience, because of all the mistakes I made and things that didn't work, I learned a lot that didn't work. If both you guys do research on cancer, and he works for 2 years, he finds a lot of things that don't work, and you read his book, and you come up with something that does work, in a year, you get a Nobel Prize. I think he too deserves a Nobel Prize if he finds out what doesn't work. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But if you have 100 scientists working on heart disease and you come up with an answer reading their books, they all deserve the best. They're all working to prevent fires, accidents, heart disease. You know what I mean? I don't look at people as, if you come up with an answer, you might be lucky, not necessarily better than the other researchers. You may come upon something, you wonder when maybe a bee stinger would work and decrease heart attacks, or pain, or mercury might do it. And you try all these different things. If one of them works, you're a great scientist. That's such bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although the society that does that is sincere, they don't know any other system. I don't say they're bad, they're just poorly informed. In the future, everybody doing research will be honored and treated well. And instead of a Nobel Prize, all the labs are given more equipment, hoping that in your studies you may find something. There's no way to know whether for certain physical disorders they use certain poisons. There's no way to know that. You try it on an animal and it dies, then you try it on a chimp and it dies, so you don't try it on a person. When a guy says, I'm against experimenting on animals, I say, what do you suggest? I don't know. Well, what, you want to take the first shot? If your person doesn't suggest anything, just they're against experimenting on animals, that's not enough. But if I tell people you shouldn't use chemotherapy on cancer or radiation therapy, the suffering is enormous. They say, well, what do? You remove cancer from a person that died of cancer and you keep it alive in you know what a petri dish is? A big circulating petri dish, and you treat the cancer. When you control it, then you can use it on people. They don't even think that way in the medical field. They work on people. They don't keep arms alive by artificial circulation. You know what I mean? or if a guy has a brain tumor, they try to cut out that area of the brain. Doctors themselves are not broad enough in their education. So when we train doctors in the future, they'll be trained in electronics, circuit design, so they can approach it without chemotherapy and chemicals only. You know what I mean? You have a broad electronic approach. And not only electronics, but other forms of energy, nutritional systems, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the doctor becomes a generalist, not a surgeon. He knows many things. If you understand what I'm talking about, the future will be very different than it is today.
Yeah.
Fire away.
No, that's,
Okay.
I'm done with
I
my
hope
questions.
you got
Thank you very
something you
much.
can use.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And the capitalist will be better off under the Venus Project than he is today. He has no mind. He just knows where to invest. Okay.
Just before you go, I was wondering if Paolo could just have his picture
Yeah,
taken with
just-
you, if you wouldn't mind.